Hi, guys, and welcome to another episode of Coco and the Sun podcast. I am your host, Malika Richlow. Feeling, I was trying to find a new word, but um, feeling grateful to be here today and blessed. Yeah. So today I'm going to continue reading the Magdalene Manuscript. We are in the part of the book that I am resistant to the old teachings and meditations. But the last time I read it, it was kind of cool how he explained the chakra system. And previous to that, how he explained the quantum reality that could possibly exist in our brain and how it's connected. So although I'm resistant to them, always surprised when I do read it, that it's kind of cool how he explains it. But I always am resistant knowing that that's the section of the book I'm on. Anyways, so new things think I've understood along the journey that the journey progresses at my own pace, and I am I am the one that's kind of dictating what comes in. However, I have no idea how I'm doing that. So if it's slow going, it's slow going because I haven't processed what I need to process yet. But I do think that is also in conjunction with my solar divine self, my guides and angels bringing things to my attention in divine time. So although it's going at the pace that I'm going, divine aspects are at play as well. But yeah, basically, the more open I am to clearing stuff and knowing what I need to clear, what I need to understand, the more open I am to dealing with my true feelings. I think the more things I process and new things come through the process, the better understand what's going on. I think pivotal to it also is just relaxing and allowing it to progress as it does. So for instance, I could say, guides and angels, what's a good thing for me to clear today? What is something that I should know today that will help me along my evolutionary journey and not be overwhelming for me, but go at a pace that's best for me? I could start the day off with something like that. And nothing may come that day, or it may come later in the afternoon. Oh, I understand this now. I understand that. It may come in a few days. So I don't know. It does feel like the more I'm open to it, it occurs, but I don't know how it comes in when it comes in. But there's some relationship relationship there. And in my dream last night, it was like I understood that because I want more in my life, more joy. I understand how I'm supposed to enjoy this time of nurturing and nourishment, this pause, this pregnant pause that's in my life. Very pregnant pause. It feels like I've been here in this space, this stillness, this trusting without fully seeing, but still getting snippets of what's to come for a while. But I feel like I would like in this space to have more joy here, to enjoy it more. And so what I understood is I think I'm exhausted, but I'm not sure. So I do ask that if there's more joy to be had here or different joy options to show me. But I think I've exhausted things I do enjoy here based on the resources I have available to me and the options I have available to me. So while this is still a pause, I would like more resources in this pause to experiment more with different joy options or more opportunities and more opportunities for joy options, as well as if there's something I'm missing here that I could enjoy with the with the resources of what I have, then I'd like to be shown that. So hopefully that comes into my existence, my attention, my awareness in some way. But yeah, I understand like this is like a pregnant pause. And I am grateful for the pause. It's just like I want to enjoy the pause more. So I want resources to enjoy this stillness more. Yeah, I think. And so I woke up with that understanding today. But I understood last night that things come into my experience when I'm ready for them. I don't know what makes me ready for them. If intentioning for another experience or for an expanded experience built on this experience does it. Just allowing it to come. Not sure. I don't think I have to effort for it though. Like, I don't think there's much action to take. The action that does come in, it's usually inspired action. I just be inspired to do something I want to do that leads to more joy, peace, harmony, resources, etc. Or someone will say something to me, or something will show up on my feed that I'm curious about and I want to look up. So it does seem, the action does seem to come that way. But I'm trying to see what the options are. And I feel like maybe my frustration with this situation is not that it's still, because I like being still, but I've been still with the same processes for a long time. So I would like some more interest in the stillness, I guess. So I'd like to still be in this situation in terms of not, all the freedom of time that I have to explore joy options, but I would also like unlimited resources as well, with the freedom of time and the freedom of thought and the connection with self and heart to explore that some more, so that every day and as much as every moment I can have be ones that filled with love and joy and laughter and learning and things that help expand me that I enjoy. So yeah. Also, I learned or I understood that I was scared of the process somewhat because I didn't want to lose my sanity. Didn't even know that was a fear that I had or a block, a resistance that I had. But I would say that I trust my mind. I trust my mind. I trust just my body to exist in this physical world and help me enjoy this physical world. I trust my soul to give me the wisdom from past lives or future lives to direct me in what brings me the most joy and love. Trust my divine self and my team, my guides and angels to guide me and help me achieve that life and that joy. I trust my mind to listen to what my heart wants and my soul wants and assist me in this reality in obtaining it. And trust my human self in keeping on the path and following the path and seeking more joy and being more love, experiencing more laughter, more authentic self, more genuine experiences, stuff like that, and evolving in that way. I do understand that I am so I had this understanding, I think a few months ago, that I was in a threshold on a bridge in transition between living life in two realities. But the realities I understand now is really more about not the actual physical reality changing, but how I live in the physical reality, how I allow things to come to me, and how I effort or not effort for those things, and how I develop my relationship with my divine self, my guides, my angels, my soul, develop that communication, that clarity, that understanding what's being transmitted to me to lead me to things that experiences, people, food, music, life that will bring me the most joy, love, and laughter. And I think that that's the reality, is how it comes. Is it efforted by a conventional job, by 40 hours a week, by following the rules, and the rules of the society in that way, and the systems in place? Or is it going to come about in a way that I didn't think of, but in the best way for me, in the most enjoyable way for me, and the easiest way for me, as long as I trust more and allow more? I also find the imagination aspect being somewhat different. I find that what I'm communicated, what's communicated to me through dreams, or just thoughts and understandings that come randomly about who I am, or what I would enjoy more being, of the life to come, of the snippets I see of where it would be enjoyable for me to live, who I would be enjoyable in communication with, interaction with, and connection with, stuff like that, seems even better than what I could have imagined with just my mind. So now it feels like it's less creating, although that's still part of it, but less creating from my imagination and my human mind, and more listening to my soul and divine self as to what's coming in my pathway and everything that they've shown me is way better than what I could have imagined, and way more enjoyable. And so now the imagination is just expanding on those snippets that I have seen, and looking forward to it, and excited for it, and knowing that it's coming, and settling in that knowing, and accepting of it, and not like saying, oh, it's not true, or it's a dream, or it's my mind playing tricks on me, or that's not the reality you're living in. It hasn't come true yet, so it's not going to come true. It's to be dismissed. No, the imagination now more has to do with it actually coming true, and looking forward to it coming through, and anchoring it as a truth, a knowing, a confidence in it being. It also feels so good. It's even better than what I would have imagined, based on what my ego mind has experienced and thinks is a good experience. It's way more than what I would have thought on my own like that. So yeah, so the imagination seems to be still a factor, but it's being incorporated in a different way. So So yeah, so a lot of trust in myself and aspects of myself is coming in now, and not being fearful of not being able to complete the journey, or being fried by it. I believe everything will work out perfectly, because every aspect of myself wants to enjoy it and wants to make sure that I'm safe and I learn and I grow. And why would I hurt myself? You know? So yeah. So that came up along with what I said earlier. I think it comes in when I'm ready. I don't know what makes me ready for it yet. I don't know if just relaxing, allowing it to come, or if it's intentioning to clear blocks, to be open for more information that helps process it faster, for it to come in more, because I'm learning more stuff about myself that I didn't think I even had to learn about. Like, I didn't know I had a problem with receiving. I didn't know I wasn't clear what allowing was. All these things coming in more clearly. Yeah. But also too, like, being honest about what I find frustrating in this phase, what I still want to experience, but what I'd like to add to the experience. If this is a stage of nourishment in nature, that's fine. This pause is fine. I just like more resources to enjoy the pause. So trusting, a lot of trusting. The trusting also, this whole process has been an integration. I find it to be a slow integration. It may be a fast integration that I can't see. A really slow integration and building of my trust and faith, first in the divine, then seeing how myself assists the divine in that building, that trust and faith, and allowing and relaxing into it and knowing it'll work out how it's supposed to. Right now, my main thing is to find more joy in the everyday. So I am really grateful for the freedom of time, but I'm asking now for freedom of resources to experiment more with different joy options. So we see how that unfolds, but relaxing and allowing it to be what it is, and allowing it to come how it comes, and being grateful and receptive to it when it comes. And if I do have to tweak the resources, or how the resources are sent, feeling okay to do that, to be grateful for it coming, but also this is in conversation and communication. It's a relationship that's building, and I am pivotal to that relationship as well. So being honest about how I like to receive as well, but grateful for anything received. So yeah, I think that's how we learn and we find, but I'm not sure if this is the way for everyone. And I'm still learning, so I'm not even sure if I'm reading it correctly and interpreting it correctly. But that's where I am today. So today, my focus is, how can I have more joy in my daily life with the resources I have? And how can I expand on those joys with unlimited resources, or an increase in resources to expand on those joys? So that's where I am. And allowing and trusting and relaxing into it, coming as it comes. So yeah. So yeah. And more of letting go of the way things came before, through effort. I want effortless, gentle stepping into my life. Yeah. So not forceful, having to do something I don't want to do 40 hours a week in order to just survive with a little more than I had, but more relaxing and being able to do what I want to do in every moment of my life, and that leading to more joy and laughter and love and expanded resources to live that life. and that life being of service to myself and to others just by being me, authentically me, which would be authentically enjoying what I do for others. All of it's interconnected. I think, again, this is just my understanding of where I am now. Every day, a new perspective mostly is added, a little tweak, a little refinement, a little more tweak. So yeah, a lot of it is inside work. A lot of it is how I'm feeling, why I'm feeling that way, understanding what I want, what brings me joy, what I think will bring me joy, experimenting on what I think will bring me joy. It may not, but just trying to see if it does. Stuff like that, stuff like that. And listening, looking for the signs. But listen, yes, I enjoy what is shared with me so much. So looking for the dreams, the visions, looking for the signs, the thoughts, the clarity that comes, the clear cognizance. Yeah. Those things do bring me joy, I will say. This communing with myself. It's just that it seems random and I'm not too able to control how it occurs. I was looking at this message on Threads that said, you have to notice when these things come in. What are you doing so that you can be in that state more? I don't ever feel like I'm doing something when it occurs. Sometimes I'll be driving or looking at TV or taking a walk or just staring at the sunset, just doing my everyday stuff, and an understanding will come. So I don't know what puts me in that receptive state and clear state to understand what's coming through, Yeah. Yeah. That I don't know how to do that or what triggers that. I also don't know what makes the next thing to come into your life come in. Like it comes in when you're ready, but what makes you ready? Is there anything you can do to make yourself ready, or is it just allowing yourself to be ready when you're ready and not stressing that? Anyway, so today we're going to read about raising the digit and the myth of Horus from the book. I talked too much about my own confusion and understanding. Okay, so we're going to continue. Through the power of intention, will, the alchemist eventually caused the chakram to move up the spine, the digit, and into the head centers, creating over time the uraeus. As the electromagnetic force of Sekhem moves upward through the chakras, the seals, these centers are stimulated. This rising of Sekhem up the digit is called the raising of the digit, as I mentioned earlier. As the 7 main seals chakras are activated through this process, the unconsciousness of the alchemist is, I'm sorry, not the unconsciousness, the consciousness of the alchemist is radically transformed. Symbolically, this movement of consciousness is mirrored in the story of Horus. There are 2 views of Horus. So I really love Horus. I hope I enjoy this reading. I love Horus because how much Hathor has been a part of my, right from the beginning, my evolution of self-love and goddesshood. And her counterpart, Horus, has been, I think, something to look forward to, because I feel like my counterpart will have some Horus energy. I don't know. Anyway, I feel this helps me understand, will help me understand him more when he does come into my reality. Anyway, symbolically, this movement of consciousness is mirrored in the story of Horus. There are 2 views of Horus. The first view holds Horus is an actual physical being who lived in the dawn of the Egyptian history. The second view does not supplant the first view, but is more symbolic in nature. Whether Horus physically existed, we cannot say for sure. Legends and stories abound, as do the theories regarding the origins of his mother Isis and his father Osiris. Some view these figures as aliens from another world, starseed. Some view these figures as aliens from another world, starseed, if you will. In this view, Isis and Osiris are geneticists, and we are the descendants of this ancient science. Some starseed theorists even relate these figures to the early Sumerians. The most common view, and the one that is generally accepted by academic Egyptologists, is that Isis and Osiris were divinities that existed within the living mythos of the time. They were, to use Jungian terms, archetypal realities within the collective unconscious of the ancient Egyptians. From a purely practical standpoint, in regards to alchemical practice, it does not matter if Horus physically existed or not. The story holds alchemical keys which, if understood, open a wealth of understanding. Horus is depicted as a hawk-headed man, as the son of Isis and Osiris. He symbolically represents the fusion of spirit and matter. In some ancient cultures, the feminine principal mother was viewed as matter. Increasingly enough, our word matter derives from the Latin word mater, which means mother. In these early cultures, the male principal father was viewed as spirit. Thus, at a symbolic level, Horus is a result of joining together spirit and matter. Horus's journey to the high god Horus is allegorical to our own journey of the Djid. In one form of the story, Horus must overcome evil by killing his uncle Set, who murdered his father. The myth is very complex and has many versions, but for our purposes here, we will focus on one stage of the battle, the moment when Horus becomes the god Min. In order to overcome Set, Horus must accumulate vast amounts of energy. At the alchemically symbolic level, the alchemist must rise above the lower three chakras, and this takes energy, a tremendous amount of energy. As anyone who has ever tried to rise above their own conditioning knows, the power of inertia is very strong. Inertia is the force that keeps things from moving. Psychologically, it shows up as lethargy, a reluctance to make the efforts required to change a situation, to evolve. Whether one is trying to stop a bad habit or activate the higher powers of consciousness does not matter. Inertia and lethargy become one's nemesis. To overcome this limiting factor in our psychological makeup requires a level of energy stronger than the force of inertia itself. This energy is in the form of Shakam, or that which makes things erect. In other words, Horus harnesses his pro-creative powers. This is symbolized by the god Min, who is shown with a large erection while holding a flail in one hand. The flail is often a piece of wood with leather strips tied to one end, and it is used to discipline a horse, especially when riding a chariot. The flail of Min is never actually used. It is a symbol of intent, of purpose. This may be an unfortunate symbol for the modern mind, since the flail carries limitations of self-abuse or harm. Nothing could be further from the intent of the symbol. A charioteer, managing a spirited horse needs to direct its attention in the direction desired. If he or she does not direct the steed, the horse will take off on its own. This can be both wasteful and dangerous. The flail allows the charioteer to get the horse's attention by whacking it on the rump. Now a sensitive equestrian knows that he or she does not need to hit a horse hard to get its attention. If rapport has been established between horse and man/woman, a slight movement of the flail is all that is needed. Thus, the flail, in this sense, is a symbolic reminder to harness the procreative energies of sex. Instead of sending his seed out into the world through the sexual act, Horus, as the god Min, harnesses this energy and sends it up to the Djed. As the energy makes its ascent into the higher brain centers, Horus is transformed by the power of the Uraeus into the high god Horus. He no longer is a god in potential. He has become a creator god in his own right. Then and only then is he able to defeat Set. This depiction, to set things straight, is not a call to celibacy. The holding of the god Min's seed is symbolic and refers to the holding and transformation of subtle forces within the sexual fluids. It is these subtle forces that are cultivated and sent up the Djid, whether male or female. In actuality, there's no need to refrain from the sex act in order to practice this form of alchemy. Indeed, as Magdalene discusses in the manuscript, there are ways that the sex act can greatly empower the ascent of Shechem up the spine. For various historical reasons, too complex to go into here, the church separates sex from spirit, but in the ancient Egyptian understanding, they are intimately connected. Misunderstandings regarding the god Min. In the Middle Ages, the flail was adopted by overzealous monks in attempts to purge themselves of sin. The essential teaching behind the flail and the god Min had been lost. Instead of being viewed as a symbol for the attainment of godlike powers, the flail was used to inflict self-torture in sadomasochistic rituals of flagellation. Mendicants would sit in their cells and lash themselves with flails to atone for their imagined sin. Perhaps they entered altered states of mind as a result of exhaustion and blood loss. But these macabre rituals had nothing to do with the alchemy or the secrets of the great god Min. But foolishness in regards to Min was not confined to the Middle Ages. At the turn of the last century, there was a tremendous interest among the Victorians in the lost secrets of Egypt. Egyptology was in its infancy, and many an adventurer trekked off for the deserts to discover the secrets of the Golden Age. To their horror, these stiff anal retentives discovered the large statues of men all over the place, and every one of them had a big you-know-what. So distressed by these discoveries were they, some of the more shocked zealots cut off the offending organs, and reliefs of men taken off to museums were, I am told, often mutilated. At the very least, a judiciously placed plaque would serve to hide the offending member from their more civilized countrymen. The Victorians had missed the point, as had their predecessors in the Dark Ages. The ancient Egyptians were not glorifying sex. They were acknowledging it as a sacred act. It had its place not just in the bedroom or in the bordellos and the whorehouses, but in the temples at the very center of their quest for the divine. Immortality. Ultimately, the goal of Egyptian alchemy is immortality, or at the very least, an extension of the self after death. In this regard, there are two means available to the alchemist, one of them temporary and the other permanent. The first method, the energy building practices, are pursued until the car is virtually scintillating with energy and light. When death of the physical body, the cat, ensues, the alchemist shifts his or her attention into the car. Much previous experience in the shifting of identification ensures that this process is accomplished with little effort. With the sense of self fully in the car, the alchemist, now an energy being, is unaffected by death of the physical body. To him or her, it is like taking off an old suit of clothes. The duration of the alchemist's existence as an energy being depends upon how much energy was collected while alive. How much joy did you collect? How much bliss? That's what builds the car. Joy and bliss. At least that's the route I intend to use. The duration of the alchemist's existence is an energy being depends on how much energy was collected while alive. If the alchemist has learned to collect and conserve energy as an energy being, then the length of existence could be quite long. For whatever it is worth, I have met energy beings who claim to be thousands of years old. In the second method, the energy building practices are pursued just as in the first three, since charging of the car is vital to both methods. However, there are significant differences. In the second path to immortality, the alchemist must align himself or herself with his or her celestial soul, the Ba. This aspect of self is translucent outside of space and time. Some might refer to it as the soul or high self. But whatever one calls it, there is an alignment that takes place with the Ba, the celestial soul, and the Ka through the Digid, or sacred pathway of the chakras. When this pathway is aligned with the Ba, there is a great influx of spiritual energy into the Ka body. When this reaches a critical mass, the Ka ignites, as it were, with an etheric fire. This is sometimes called the golden raiment, but was referred to by the ancient Egyptians as the Sahu. This body is immortal. Just how an alignment with the Ba or celestial soul creates such a metamorphosis of the Ka is a closely guarded secret. It involves the highest aspects of alchemy and is revealed to the initiate when he or she is ready. This revelation may come directly from an embodied teacher, but more often it comes from an Aku, one who has attained the light body and who now lives in the realm of spirit. Sometimes this information is revealed directly from the Ba to the alchemist. In regards to survival after death, I should point out that many spiritual traditions say that there is a spark of consciousness that always survives death, regardless of the level of attainment. However, the spark does not hold the sense of personal identity in the ways of the Ka or Sahu. Thus, at death, one's personal sense of self, as well as the memory of personal history, dissolves unless one of these subtle bodies has been stabilized. I think I'm going to stop there from now, and then next podcast we'll read about Amit, Matt, and the final thoughts. Oh, then he has a brief comparative of Jesus. It's a lot, y'all. We have to go a brief comparative of internal alchemies after that. But anyway, we'll complete this section here, which was called, I didn't even think we would have gotten through that. Egyptian alchemy. Yeah. So that's awesome. I hope you guys have a really great weekend, that you know you are loved and that you are loved and you're gentle with yourself and pay attention to yourself and listen to yourself and take time with yourself, and that you live in ease and flow if that's the life you want. You know what? That you live the life that you want, whatever that is. For me, it's ease and flow. and effortlessness and joy and laughter and love. But for you, it may be something else. So whatever it is for you, I hope that you have the life that you want. And I guess I'll see you guys next week with the podcast. We'll finish up this little section with the Egyptian alchemies, and then we'll start a comparison of internal alchemies. So he'll be looking at different types of internal alchemies, not just Egyptian. So maybe I'll learn some stuff there. I don't know. Have a great weekend. I hope anything I talked about was able to help someone, or maybe you guys can help me in this confusing time, because you know I have some questions. I already told you what I was dealing with and how I wasn't sure. So maybe in your own journey, you got some answers that you can share with me that might help me. I don't know. I would like to learn from you as well. Yeah, this journey has been quite interesting, y'all. Where is it going? Oh, all right. Have a great day, guys. Talk to you guys later.